Wow, Tonya, I love that tiger in your profile picture. We are 1 minute away.
Thank you.
Wow, it's wonderful. Who did that for you? Who did that art for you?
It's actually a collaboration.
Wow.
So it's my friend and I. This is our thing, what we're doing for fun.
Wow,
So let me run into my studio.
that's great.
Yeah, I wanted to record. Actually, let me put this. I put out the countdown too soon, but it's okay.
No,
And I put this.
no, don't worry. 5 minutes is okay. Oh no, it's
Okay.
we are 1 minute away, I guess.
Log into my other account.
Okay. I'm gonna try to give the microphone to Adam too. Let me see if I can invite him to speak. Okay, he has been invited, says here. Let's see if he receives any indication on his device. Okay, it's like a second co-host. Kiki, welcome. Glad to see you here. Chacha, you're in the first group too. Gaul, welcome. Blue Krypton NFT, great name. Chacha, you and I, we are following each other already. Glad to see you. And okay, I'm gonna ask Kiki if she wants a mic. Just give me a signal, a 100 or any one of the icons. If you're listening, Kiki. Okay, I'm gonna count to 5. I'm supposed. I don't like this method because I'm not sure if you are listening to me. Maybe there is some fault on your side. So, oh, I saw a request, but no, it disappeared. Oh, I had to check the DMs. One moment, Kiki. Anyway, I'm gonna send you the invitation, and if you wish to take it, I have a request here. I cannot open this scene. I have to check the DMs. Just a second. I'm afraid I lost the audio.
We can hear you.
Ah, you can hear me. Okay, good. Thank you for calming me. Maybe I'm gonna send you over to our little group a question, Adam, in the check the DM that Tonya created for this transmission. I'm gonna send you in 1 second. Yes, I just want to be sure. I'm going. Here it is. Okay, there you go. I will be waiting for your answer if you can do it. Okay, Tonya, whenever you tell me you're ready, I don't know what's your time over there. She's adding devices and more cables and more.
Yeah, I got more devices you don't want to know.
Every
This is
week.
really important to me.
pretty soon she will have to get out of that house whenever there is just to be able to transmit, to make another space. It wouldn't surprise me that we are going out on CNN or whatever from some stuff some little toy that she bought. Hacking CNN signal and getting everything into the air. I'm gonna check the end to see if Adam answered me. What about
Hey, Carlos.
Italy?
I did try to answer you on the DM, but it's not going through for some reason.
Oh, maybe. Oh, I'm following you, and I have your envelope here. Maybe if you follow me just for this. And
I'm already following you. I
okay.
started following you already,
Okay.
so I'm not sure why it's not going. I think maybe just I'm in Laos, so my connection is not always very strong. So
Okay.
it might take a second. But that blog is public, so probably people might
Okay,
already know
that's
about
what
it.
I thought, but I don't like to suppose things. I did read the book, the four agreements, and one of the four agreements with yourself must be never make assumptions, only go to the source if you can. So
Yeah, that was really nice of you. Yeah, talking about the project that we're doing is probably the best.
the main subject, perfect. Okay,
Yeah,
exactly.
we don't need to go into my personal details, but that blog again is public, so people could find it if they so chose.
Okay, perfect, understood. So you can, I don't know if we are already recording. Of course, it must be because I see here the signal of recording. Antonia must be pretty busy with her little toy store for broadcasting this. So I would like to invite you, Adam, to present yourself, so the people already here can get to know you a little bit, and then we repeat the shortened version of that presentation a few minutes later. You can go on wherever you wish.
I'm sorry, I didn't. That wasn't clear to me. What you
Okay.
wanted me to do? I apologize.
No, just to make yourself a self presentation, just like a summary of who you are, what are you doing, where you are on Earth now, and the just like a basic summary for having the idea about your project and why you're doing, especially.
Sure. So a lot of people in the NFT community already know me as Adam, or as my previous name was Colorblind Creation, or Colorblind Adam. But I've been going by Adam Stewart. I kind of rebranded a little bit just because I'm doing more charity projects lately, and I wanted people to trust my projects, and so that's why I made sure to put my name out there like that.
Okay,
And
so you're using, if I got you well, you're branding more the Adam Stewart than the previous colorblind.
well, my handle is colorblind_Adam, but my real name is Adam Stewart, so you're welcome to use either.
Okay, exactly. Well, both are, because colorblind underscore Adam is just like it's not a bad handle. It has a great recall, I think.
Yeah,
So
it's my Twitter handle, and also like my Instagram. I changed my Instagrams to match my Twitter, but it's just an internet name, obviously, because I'm colorblind and my name's Adam.
okay. Is being the colorblind the same that being daltonic? People who confuse green and red colors is the same condition.
Yeah. So color blindness comes in many forms. My particular type of color blindness is red, green, and brown are very similar, but green and brown are exactly the same, and blue and purple are exactly the same, and pink and gray are exactly the same. So those colors, my color spectrum is greatly reduced than the average person.
Okay, because we in Spanish, I am in Caracas, Venezuela, in South America, and we have a name for the condition of confusing green and red colors. In Spanish, is daltónico. I don't know.
Right, that's a type of color blindness. That is a type. That's called red-green
Ah,
colorblindness
okay.
in English. But mine is a little bit more than just two colors, but it's in the same spectrum.
Okay. I understand that. Okay, well, we are, oh, Albert is here.
So I'm ready. We're all going.
You're
I need
ready.
to really. I have to show a sample of this project to somebody. So because I want a story written about it. So I have to record in so many different platforms so I can cut up the snippets. So and then of course I was shutting down everything so I can have my computer going, and then it logged me out. And of course I don't remember my passwords. I have to reset my whole password because I don't have my my little lock thing next to me. So, but sorry about that.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all because I have been telling everybody the truth. I want to share with you that Tonia's days. Your day has 24 hours, right, Adam? My day has 24 hours. Tonia's days have 36 hours. She was blessed by God with extra hours that we don't have because that's the only explanation that she can be. Oh, maybe she's triplets with other two little girls, and they are spread in different spaces, different platforms. So I mean, one of those explanation of both at the same time because it's incredible the amount of stuff Tonya can do in a week. Albert, you did us an almost 8 hour space. I'm gonna give you the mic. Welcome.
So
He's from.
let's reset the space because I
Okay.
want because this is a really serious matter, and also I want to be able to be mindful of Adam's time because this is really late for him.
Okay. Oh, where are you now? Located,
He's in
if you can
Laos.
tell.
I'm in Laos. It's actually quite early. It's 7 a.m.
Wow.
here. I got about 2 hours of sleep to make sure I was here to be with you guys today. So thank you for having me.
Okay. Okay. That's Cambodia?
No, Laos is it's next to Cambodia.
Different
So
countries, but they are neighboring countries.
Neighboring. Yeah,
let's
they're in
reset the
the same
space.
zone.
I wanted to go ahead and introduce myself and my co-host Carlos, and we want to welcome everybody. My name is Tanya Schultz. I am the co-founder and really I'm the founder of Social Chats, which is streaming this whole thing. We're on YouTube, Facebook group, Twitter right now. So if you guys could please retweet this space because it's a really serious, important subject matter, and I really appreciate Adam for being here to sharing his project. And as you guys know, NFT for a Cause has been this is our fifth episode, Carlos. As I'm trying to do 10 million things at the same time. So so with every week we feature an NFT artist or project that is doing something for social good. I mean, they're donating their proceeds or they're creating something to raise awareness. And it's really important for us to feature these artists and projects so that people can be aware and also really give the voice to the artists so that they can explain their process and the reason why they're doing this. So today, our feature artist is our feature NFT artist is colorblind underscore Adam, who is Adam Stewart. And this is Adam is a friend of mine, but we've been working on a longevity project and we met on Space. So today I asked him to come and be share with me because I know this is a project near to his heart and he's been working on this. So again, everybody, I appreciate you. And Carlos, I appreciate you. You're like so incredible, by the way.
Okay, I didn't got the last part. Sorry.
You're so incredible. How's that?
Listen, I had my mic shut off when you asked how many weeks. This is the number 5. It's the number 5, the Sunday number 5. We are making this together, so I'm very happy. So, how do you want to start?
Well, I think I'd like Adam to share a little bit about himself, his travel, and what made him get to Laos, and really his art first, because the NFT is the second part of it, but this is a project he's been working on. So, Adam, welcome.
Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Carlos, for giving me the chance to share this project with everyone, and I do appreciate the platform. So this is my third project that I've done for kind of a charitable or social cause. The first one, of course, was the one I did for longevity research and regenerative medicine. And then after that, I did one to raise money for the Aka tribe for their schools. And I outfitted 2 schools there, and we're working on doing the 3rd now. And this one here that we're working on, I guess that I'm working on, is for survivors of sexual assault. And I know it's a very heavy topic, and I appreciate everyone's patience with me as I talk about this. I will say, if anyone's not comfortable with it, don't feel pressured to listen further. You know, I don't want to. So this conversation, I should just give a trigger warning for it, because it is a heavy topic, and I will be going over different during the course of this conversation. You know, sensitive subject matter, it will come up. So back in 2018 is when I started this project, long before I even heard of NFTs. This is actually a project that I've been doing outside the internet for many years. I had gone through some struggles, and several of people that I knew in my life had gone through some struggles, and art has always been a healing factor in my life. It has always been a way for me personally to heal. And so I reached out with the hopes that I could assist someone else also in healing and help me process emotions around an experience a friend had had. And so that's what first spawned this project. And so I had done a piece for them. And so I'd like to talk about the process of why I do these pieces and what they mean. The project We See You began with the idea that those who go through sexual assault are often left unheard and unseen by society. I know a year or so ago there was the Me Too movement, for example, but when I started this project, there was not. And I just wanted people to feel seen, if not by everyone, at least by me, at least those that participated in the project. And so what I had done is I reached out and I suggested we take the eye of the participant so that they could feel like they were part of the painting. And that would be the focal point of the painting while I painted it, and also their favorite flower. And the reason I chose their favorite flower is because I wanted the flower to act as a simulacrum of the body. I wanted it to represent the idea of their perfect self. Often people, when they go through this kind of ordeal, these kind of events in their lives, this trauma, they feel unclean, they feel dirty, they feel unseen. And I wanted them to feel perfect and beautiful again. And that was the goal of this project. It was to help, is not to represent the trauma, but to represent the path of healing towards feeling perfect again. And so painting these is almost like a ritual, like a prayer, if you will, where I sit down and the sketch comes after the story. They've shared with me parts of the story, only what they're comfortable sharing. And I always make sure that people that are part of this project, since we started, have gone through counseling, are in a stage of their healing that they're able to talk about it openly, or at least consoling me, because I don't want to bring up negative feelings. And if during the course of this feelings are brought up, they have someone, a professional, to talk to and make sure that they're taken care of beyond what I can do as an artist. And so as I sit down with this and I draw this out with their stories in mind, the idea is we're manifesting, or almost like praying into existence, their well-being. And that's what I do. I spend more than 25 hours on each painting, sometimes 30, sometimes 35. It depends on the details that are needed to encapsulate the beauty of what I want their body to represent, so they can feel whole again. And while I'm doing it, it is a very emotionally taxing process for me. I've gone through stuff in my life, so every time I do one of these, it is an emotional toll. So I try not to do more than 1 or 2 per year. And so it's not something that I can do regularly. And it also takes away from doing my own commissions and my own work, because it is a charity project. The people that participate in this project haven't paid me anything, and I don't sell those paintings. And so the money for the money that I would get normally is lost. And so I can't do them as often as I'd like, but I try to make them impactful. And so I do have a waiting list of people wanting to do this. I'm going at it quite slowly for my own mental health, and also I want to make sure that when I do these, I can give it my full and utmost attention. Now, to put them on the blockchain, people have asked me, point blank, are you profiting off people's suffering? And I said, no, we're trying to highlight the healing process, not the trauma. The focus of this has always been about healing. And the money that we use from the first sale, for example, I reached out to those to the participant, and we sat down and I said, look, we managed to make this amount of money with this art, and each participant on the blockchain has consented. We've made sure to they've been a part of this process from the creation to the inception to the minting onto the blockchain. So they have been. I've only put people on there who are comfortable with being placed on the public eye, their story, because they want to bring awareness to this cause. And we're using that money so that we can do more of these, basically. So that money went to the participant to pay for counseling services. It actually paid for about 15 sessions, 14 or 15 sessions to assist them. And also some of that money went to adding 2 more to the blockchain, because it does cost me money every time we put it on the blockchain. So we wanted to use some of that to put on the blockchain again. And there's a small little portion left over that we're going to use to make sure that we have enough supplies and materials so that we can do more of these each time we do them. And so that is where that money went. And so not a penny goes anywhere that the participant hasn't agreed. And so I'm not putting this into my pocket just to get rich off people's suffering. I just want to be clear. The idea here is to highlight healing, and the process of healing can occur, does occur, and that we can be made whole again, and we can become our old self, if you will, or our perfect self again. So that's the idea of the project. That's what we've been doing. Do you have any questions for me, Tanya or Carlos?
No, I'm loving the fact that you're sharing this. Give it further detail, because I was looking at the artwork and it's beautiful. I love the eye. I mean, it looks so real, actually. I can't believe that's watercolor.
Well, first of all, as you want to say, you're a wonderful speaker. Wonderful. I mean, you express in a wonderful way with an astounding clarity, and we can feel you through your words and feel your honest desire to, as you say, highlight the healing process of that this kind of trauma causes. And also, I do like a lot the fact that you choose the flower, because some people say, well, I did read one Eckhart Tolle's book, wonderful, the author of The Power of Now, and he says that in nature, the illumination, the moment of illumination that the Buddhists spread all over the world and in their beliefs, in nature is represented, or is the flower. I mean, the flower, everything you see a flower, you're watching a piece of nature illuminating. That's what illuminations looks like. So it's such an important element, the flower. So I'm so glad that you have this project, and the flowers form such a huge part of this project in the presence and representing the body of the victims, of the sufferers.
Yeah, I don't want to reframe it as a victim or a sufferer. I want to frame it as people who are either the participant or the survivor.
Okay, sorry about that. You're right.
No,
sorry.
It's okay, because I just want to reaffirm the goal here is not to highlight the trauma or being a victim in our past. The goal here, and it's okay. I know language is different in each culture, but language is also important in our healing process. And viewing ourselves as victims can be a painful thing. And so that I just want to make clear, because I know we're being recorded, that I would prefer the word participant or survivor in this project, because I don't want to highlight trauma. I want to highlight the beauty that is the participant in this project. And so that's why I just wanted to correct that one word. Now, I would like to address also your comment about using the flower. When I was a child, my mother and we used to garden a lot, and we used to plant flowers. And my mother was Christian, and I asked her about flowers and many times. And one of the things she always told me when I was a young boy was that for her, flowers were like God created flowers simply to be beautiful, that they were put on this earth just to add beauty to it. And No, no, I'm not myself necessarily believe that that's why the flowers are there, you know, from the evolutionary perspective. But from a mythological or a spiritual perspective, the idea that a flower is that manifestation of illumination, as you said, or that manifestation of beauty, that's the reason I chose a flower, because I wanted to highlight the beauty that is in nature, and try to remind us that we're part of that, and that we are still beautiful as well.
Well, before we go into in a few minutes into the question and answers, I did set up in the nest. I want to share a wonderful, really wonderful quote published by Rishas Howard. She works in Twitter, and this quote says, and I think that's what you're referring to about how the participants, um, have helped themselves by seeing themselves different, and that's the wonder of what the job you're doing. You're helping them to see themselves different, and you can go up and see the second publication in the nest says, once you prove your worth to yourself, the whole world adjusts. That's wonderful. I mean, if once you prove your worth to yourself, and you believe, and if you were believing you were worth just $1, and now you think you are worth 1,000 or 1,000,000, the people will adjust to what you believe about yourself. That's a very important quote, and I give it to you as a gift to use it in your work, because I think it fits properly. So if anyone has a question for Adam, I think this is the proper moment, because we are approaching the first half of the hour. So anyone can, let me check here.
So Eddie, I just gave him the mic, and hey Eddie, how are you?
Hello, how are you, Tanya? Hello, Carlos. Hi, Adam.
Glad to meet you.
Did you have a question for Adam?
I was in a space yesterday, Adam, and you were in there sharing your story and the survivor stories. And I really relate with the process that you're going through. And when you spoke about having the eye in the flower, I searched through my Snapchat, because I've deleted a lot of my pictures, because I put my eyeball in a sunflower that I took a picture of and cropped it in last year at some point in time. Apparently I've deleted it, because I was going to attempt to send it to you to allow you to do whatever you wanted to with it on the blockchain, to like provide counseling for some of the survivors that may not be so comfortable sharing their story. But unfortunately I could not find it. I really love that you are doing this, and I'm amazed by it. Thank you so much for being out there and putting the stigma away from some of the things that society doesn't speak about.
Okay, thank you for your words. Great participation. Thank you. So I don't know if Tonya has
Adam,
a second candidate for a second question.
I think Adam wanted to say something. Did you? I saw his mic.
No, it's okay. Thank you, Eddie.
Okay.
So Adam, let me ask some more questions. So I'm looking at your project on Rarible, and how many pieces do you have altogether? Because they're beautiful. And can we talk a little bit about? Because the one I just pinned up, you have it on your as your pinned tweet in your profile, but your collection is beautiful, and especially I mean the bottom right hand one with the green eyes, with the like a lavender blue flowers around them.
Yeah, we can talk about these. Each of these have their own stories, because each of these are for individual survivors. The participant in that one, Tanya, that's a butterfly bush. That's what that flower is called. And this individual, and if you scroll down on that description, you can see their stories. When they were young, they had lost one of their parents, and so they became a member of what's called Scouts. I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with that. It's kind of like an organization where people assist people in like camping and going outdoors. There's a Girl Scouts and also a Boy Scouts. There's two forms of it, and the participant was in Scouts, and I tried to leave it in gender neutral terms on the blockchain there, just so that people can identify it from either perspective, because some of these participants are male, some are female, some are young, and some are even grandparents in this so far in this project. And that particular individual story, what happened with them is they had lost a parent, and so the leader of Scouts became close friends with the family and used that position of authority to abuse their trust. And that individual that abused them also went on to become a counselor. And so they were terrified to go see a counselor for many, many years and to get help because of what had happened to them when they were young. However, they are going to counseling. They are doing, I believe it's called EDMR treatment for PTSD, and they're doing very well now compared to when they were younger, and their life is actually improved drastically, and they've reported such positive feedback from this project that we did together. And so they were actually the first to consent to me putting on the blockchain. They were very enthusiastic and very happy to get the story out there and be seen by other people, their story, because they still feel that social stigma of sharing publicly, and this allows them that to be anonymous and to still get their story out so that people can understand what happened to them and also the journey of healing that they're going through now.
I think we lost Carlos here. Let me bring him back. Yeah, I think the conversation, being able to share with someone, being in a safe place, I feel like survivors really, they need that, and that's fantastic. You're able to capture that in these pieces. How many are you planning to do?
Well, this has been an ongoing project since 2018. I have actually quite a few of these at my house. However, I'm only putting the ones on the blockchain where people have consented, because the initial participation, the consent was to allow me to place them in a gallery, so that, and not to sell them, but just to raise awareness of the cause, to raise awareness about what we're doing, what people have gone through, and to share their stories in an anonymous way. And I had actually the first participant actually reached out to me about my NFTs, and that started this discussion and spawned the idea to put it on the blockchain to begin with. And so then I started reaching out to other people that I felt that were in a position that I could ask. I didn't want some I know whose stories are quite sensitive to them. I didn't want to pose the question. So I don't have a set number, but 3 have already come forward to ask me to put it on the blockchain or have given me permission. But the other participants, I haven't reached out to them yet, simply because I know some of them may not be, I know them, I know their stories, and I don't want to cause them any pain or any discomfort. And so as now some of them follow me, and if they see what I'm doing and they reach out to me personally on their own, then yes, I may put more of their stories on there, but I don't want to go out of the way to bother anyone, I guess, to put them on the blockchain unless I felt that it would help them personally. Does that make sense? And so if in the future, if I have more participants, because I do have a waiting list, I will, in the initial interview, I will ask them, do you want to be put on the blockchain? Because that way the story, it's from the beginning that we both are on the same page. But however, right now I'm going to limit this to 3 pieces, and then in the future I may expand.
And according to what I read, the originals, you're never gonna, like, you're just doing the NFT, but the originals will never be sold to anybody. Am I correct?
That's right. Some participants, I've offered it to them if they would like it, either in print form or the original. However, what I've been doing recently, the most recent participants, our goal is to do someday. There was some talks about 2 years ago, about when COVID first started, about possibly doing a showing, a gallery showing in Japan. However, since COVID started, that was scratched. Japan still remains closed. And so I've taken that off the table for now. And that's one of the reasons why the blockchain is so nice, is that we can still show these to people and share these stories with people without, with COVID restrictions being in place. And in the future, if possible, I would like to have all these on hand so that I can use them in a gallery just for the purpose of raising awareness, not to sell them. The goal here is not to sell these. I don't want to sell them. I want to curate them and take care of them. So that's why they're not being offered for sale.
Oh, wow, that's really cool. Have you ever thought about? I'm trying to think. Isn't there nonprofits organizations that are that you can work with, like do a project, like have them be part of this too? Because there's a lot. There is a group that I honor somebody that did this, and she went around. She's a nonprofit down here, and they talk about survivors and about what has happened and stuff. But the way you're raising awareness is so different from how she described to me. Down here in South Florida, nonprofits, they don't do what we're doing, talking about NFT art. Their goal is always to raise money. They have big auction events or networking events, and just to raise awareness, or people donate, or even a crowdfunding project to launch. But doing a Web3 NFT art project like the way you're doing, I think is a much feasible way. And have you ever thought about doing that with another, like maybe a global nonprofit? I think there is a global nonprofit that does this, right? That help survivors.
I'm not familiar with that. I don't think anyone else is doing this style of art for this kind of cause. I don't think that.
No, I didn't mean like any artist doing this kind of stuff. I mean like a nonprofit that is helping survivors, raising awareness about it. I mean,
well, Tanya, I think in every country around the world these days, there are groups of people doing these. However, I've always remained independent. As you know, with my longevity research, I did it by did that project all by myself almost. I had other people on the outside, like, give me soft assists, like you came, I think it was on the third piece when you came and helped me to get the word out even more. But I like to do things myself. Simply because these stories are sensitive and I don't trust everybody. And I didn't want to have to say, oh yeah, this person, this story. People tell me something, I can keep it private. I can't trust an organization with paperwork and bureaucracy to keep things private necessarily. That doesn't mean that there aren't really great organizations out there. There are, but they have so much overhead cost. And if I went with them and we raised money, how much of that's going to the cause that I'm doing? How much is it going to the organization to pay for someone's car? I have no idea. And that's not to bring into question anyone that is doing these as an organization, what they're doing and the good they're doing in the world. But the cost of living where I am here in Laos is quite low. So I'm able to do this project without having to do crowdsourcing. I'm able to do it this way. However, in the future, if an organization wishes to fund me to do more of these, I would be more than willing to talk about it. I just don't want to have to share the participant stories with anyone except in the way that I'm doing it, so that I'm using royal plurals, they, them. I don't want to have to say this person from this area. I don't want to give personal details. So if an organization is out there and wishes to partner with me in some way, I'm open to it, but only if it's done on my terms. Does that make sense, Tanya?
Oh no, yes, definitely. I actually there's an organization in America, it's called RAIN, RAINN.org. It's the National Sexual Assault Telephone Hotline. So I mean, this is another organization. I don't know. I'm gonna reach out to them and share this recording with them, because I feel like the more organization, more people know about this, because I feel what you're doing is incredible, and it has been. I know when we met, you had mentioned it, and I was really impressed with you about that. And it's just been a long project for you. I mean, 2018. I mean, that's 4 years, right? And here you are today, and yet, like, one thing, like the pandemic happened, so you didn't get a chance to do the gallery you wanted to do yet, but you turned to NFT, and I think that's a wonderful thing you're doing. And so, where do you see yourself will you be working on this project for the next until whenever? As more people, more survivors come and reach out to you to talk to you about that, do you see yourself doing more of these?
I have a waiting list actually of people that wish to participate in it. And since I began sharing it in the Twitter spaces, more people have reached out and said, can you do mine as well? Can I send you this and you do mine as well? I've gotten a lot of these kind of requests. Unfortunately, I have a waiting list, so I can't take more people on right now. So if you're listening and you want to be part of this, I do need to say I'm sorry. I currently have a waiting list of people that wish to participate. But as I said, I do these quite slowly. As you've read my stories before probably, and every time I do one of these, it takes a lot out of me. Just sharing these in Twitter spaces takes a lot out of me. It's a very emotional topic for me, with my history and with those that are participating, their histories. And so this can't be my only focus. This is a project that I can do sometimes. And so when I do it, I go off that list that's already of people already waiting, and I will be doing more in the future. I already have one on my list that I hope to do in the next coming months, and I'm ready to do that one actually. So it just takes time. They're a slow process because there has to be some research done. We have to make sure we find the perfect flower. I know that maybe that sounds silly to some people, but I want something that the people truly identify with, because it has to represent them. And so we take our time with it. We don't rush this. We make sure we find the perfect flower. And sometimes that takes, waiting a couple seasons for the right bloom to come up, for them to take a photograph of it and be like, what about this one? And they're so excited about it because they find one that they connect to. And so this isn't something I'm rushing through like mass producing. This is truly an art form to me that takes time so people can be heard. And so I will be doing more of these, but don't expect them to come out quickly. I do 1 or 2 a year tops, just because of the emotional toll and the time it takes and the attention for each person. And so if anyone out there is wanting to be part of this, don't feel like I'm rejecting you. I'm not. I just am one man. And so I hope that you can, be patient with me and just be compassionate towards my time as well, because I do want to help people. I'm a limited resource, if that makes sense, Tanya.
No, I do understand, because especially when you're this type of doing this type of project I could imagine does drain you, especially because it's very sad, but I feel for the survivors, it's needed, so I appreciate you for doing that. So Carlos, did you have any question?
Tanya, can I cut you off one topic?
Sure.
What they went through is sad, yes. I don't want my project, when people to see these paintings, to feel sadness. That's not the goal here. The goal here is to highlight the healing portion of this process. Like we go through an accident, we break our bones. It's very painful, but as that bone sets, the muscles around it, heal. The bone itself becomes stronger, and when it's healed completely, sometimes the bone is even stronger than when it initially was broken. The idea here is not to focus on just the trauma or the sadness or the pain of what happened. So I want to make sure that words have so much power, and so I'm sorry that I'm reaffirming this again. I want to affirm that this is about the healing journey of feeling beautiful again, of feeling perfect and whole again, not about the trauma or the sadness or the pain that occurred in the past. So I just want to keep reiterating that, because words do have power, and I want to make sure we're not giving the wrong words power over the presentation of this project.
Adam, it will be possible to give. I even when I do admire your position, that you ask the survivors to first search for professional counseling help and this, but you have been passing through this process and know other cases. Which can you tell us, or tell a person, a participant in this process, there is something that can be done? What will be the best advice you will give a person who have been passing through this and is in the healing process? What's the based on your experience, what would be your best recommendation? Not pretending that you are a specialist, okay? Respecting the distance with the professionals in the mental health and these kind of issues, okay? What can you tell us?
So yeah, to be very clear, I am not a counselor. I'm not a mental health professional. I have my background. I do have a BS in psychology. My master's is actually in teaching English. So I am not a professional counselor. So to be clear to everyone who's listening to me, please be aware of that. I'm an artist, and I don't make any claims to be otherwise. But I am also a survivor. I've gone through things, and so one thing that I would feel was most empowering for me is you did nothing wrong, and to recognize that in your life, if you have gone through this, you did nothing wrong. Not one piece of what happened to you was your fault. And it is very easy to put blame on ourselves. I was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Maybe I wore the wrong thing. I said the wrong thing. I implied the wrong thing. We always want to find a way to cognitively when we go through something, sometimes we experience what's called cognitive dissonance. And so we try to find a rational explanation of why something happened. Sometimes things happen that just happen, and you can't take that blame on yourself. So the first thing in the healing journey for me is to realize you are not to blame. Whatever happened to you is not your fault. From that perspective and that paradigm shift, the second step that I would go is to reach out to someone you can trust and you can love, that you love, who can help you get to the right services, such as counseling, a psychologist, the police, whatever it is that can help you on your journey. But I do recommend counseling. Professional help is the best help. Not an artist like myself. I am a small piece that possibly could help on the healing journey. But the healing journey, I think, a professional psychologist is where you need to go. I hope
And you
that
know,
makes sense.
let me break this just a second. You know why this second piece of advice you're giving is so important? Because the professionals, they have something we don't have. And you, even being through the process of actually healing, you don't have the tools. And the tools mark the difference. So that's the importance of a professional and a specialist in these cases. So that's a very, very important thing. And there will, do you think there will be a third piece of advice third piece of advice that you could give as a recommendation before we go to search for a question from the audience?
So I'm not necessarily that there is a third piece of advice, but there is some really amazing technology coming out to help people with PTSD. And there's a lot of interesting techniques, and some of them can be disconcerting and painful, but I just ask that people trust the process and trust in their psychologist and their counselor that can help them navigate that technology. They have one that they put these headphones on your ears and they make like a beep as they go through those traumatic events. And over time, it does desensitize you to them. And there's so much stuff going on right now in the world of psychology and mental health that I'm not the one to offer those suggestions. So for me, the first piece of advice is, as I said, and the second piece is to get that assistance from a professional to help them, guide them on the process. And if in that process they're talking with a psychologist, they feel that someone doing art can help them, whether it's with a fellow artist like myself, or doing art on their own, can be very powerful and empowering. And I really believe that art can heal all wounds. Not always having a professional artist do it for you like myself, but doing it yourself even with crayons or a color pencil or charcoal on paper. Art can heal all wounds, and I sincerely believe that. And I hope that and there are art therapies going on right now, so consider that too with your professional. So if you do reach out to your professional, maybe suggest to them, have you heard of art therapy, and see if it would be right for you, see if it would help you as well. Okay, that's what I have to say about that.
Okay, I would like to see you. Go ahead, Tonya, but I think we have a few minutes still to get one or two questions from the audience.
Yeah, we have like about 10 more minutes because I want to, we in our spaces, we only do it for 60 minutes sharp. So if anyone has some more questions, you want to go ahead and grab the mic and I'll let you come up. But so Adam, are you working on any other projects? Do you have any other things you're working on?
Absolutely. I always, if you saw my art studio, I'm working on a series, a compassion series right now. and also one about addiction. The compassion series, I'm taking archetypes of compassion from around the world, such as like the Bodhisattva of compassion, like Avalokite, Jesus, Mother Mary, Tara. So different Buddhas and different religious leaders who have been compassionate or taught compassionate teachings. I'm doing a series of ink paintings with gold leaf for those, and I'm also doing one on opium addiction and because I know there's the opioid crisis as well, and it's something that's affected some people dear to me. This is not a charity project. Neither of those are charity projects, but they are projects that I'm actively working on, as well as just my regular day-to-day art that I do just for keep my own mental sanity. So those are my two main projects that I'm doing on the side, as well as my other paintings that I just do on a daily basis.
Thank you. And Brent, did you have a question? How are you, Brent?
Well, not really a question, but a comment. This Twitter space made me think about like some ideas about like being able to create content around sexual abuse.
Well, I think Adam's project, he doesn't want to feature that. He wants to show the healing process. But I understand. I mean, like, I think we need to, that's a conversation that a lot of time we need to talk, but I'd love to have that conversation with a psychiatrist in the space. For Adam's project, he again says that he would like this project to be talked about as a healing process, not about the sexual abuse. Am I right, Adam?
Yeah, I'm not sure I fully understood Brent's question, but Brent, I don't want to make art about sexual abuse. Me as an artist, that's not something that I'm comfortable doing. It's not something that I think should be done. I think that I think sexual abuse is very traumatic, and I don't want to put trauma on a canvas. I want to highlight healing. I want to highlight the process and the journey of becoming whole again. I don't. It's personally something that I just don't think that we should be putting onto a painting, because it's traumatic, and that's not the goal of my art. If other people feel they need to for their healing process, I'm not going to discount it, wholesale discount it. But personally, I would not put my abuse personally or those that on there. I don't want to give a voice to that abuse. I want to give a voice. Okay, this happened, so here's the backstory, and I want to highlight the healing process. If that makes sense.
If I could like retract my comment and say a different one, I think that art will be a healing process for someone who goes through abuse.
Okay, I understand your question now, Brent, and thank you for that. Yes, I agree with you. Art should be done as part of the healing process, and I agree with you with those words. I'm sorry, I misunderstood your first comment, and now that you've clarified, I understand. So thank you.
Yeah, I misunderstood yours too, Brent, but thank you for clarifying that. And you're right. I think art does heal. I mean, it heals quite a bit. Art, music, sound. I mean, it's really what you make the person feel when they look at your art. How it.
For example, Jovian's one song.
Yes, Jovian's one song does that too. So, and again, every pieces that people talk about, or they look at something, they look at it, and you're right. We don't really want to feature the negative part. We want to talk more about the healing process and help the people, and also each piece represent each person, and they're sharing. They're feeling safe enough to share their story to Adam for him to create that into a piece of art. So Adam, you have a lot of different projects on here, but you're also helping a lot of NFT artists too. I want to kind of we have 7 minutes left, and I really want to give you, I'm excited by your project you have here, but let's talk a little bit about you and as a space host. do you understand that you host an incredible, I know for a fact, actually, you host an incredible space that you've created your own community. And you mentioned how long you've been doing NFT, but can you tell everyone else? And also, can you tell people, and you're also helping people, you're onboarding new artists, aren't you? Or explaining to people what NFT is?
Yeah, so I'm actually doing everything you just said. I started NFTs. I started the process of researching, but I didn't really enter the NFT community until early September, late August, early September is when I entered the NFT community, and I found that most of the places I went in my time zone were not spaces that I fully enjoyed. They were more just to sell your art. They weren't getting to know the artist. And so I created my own space. I started what's called the Be Kind community. I know it sounds really cheesy, that name, but there's a reason for that name. I have a dear friend of mine who suffers from chronic pain like myself. I'm injured, I'm a disabled veteran, and I have a friend who's also an injured vet, and she goes through terrible pain every day. And so she'd always put on her Facebook at the end of the day, be kind. And that was it, just be kind. Just a reminder, everybody, be kind. And then when I was younger, I didn't really get it. I was like, oh, that's so silly. Why does she always put that up there? You know? But I started to think about it, and it made sense because as we go through these chronic pain, and as my pain's gotten worse as I got older, because it does, and it will continue to get worse, it is important that we try to have a level of compassion towards each other because we don't know what each other's going through. So being kind is kind of a very bold thing to do in this day and age, in my opinion, especially on the internet and especially in the crypto space. Sometimes we have what's called degen spaces, which we're just being goofy and silly, and we are just saying anything that comes out of our mouths. We're just having fun. So I wanted to create a place that kind of fosters a level of kindness. It doesn't mean that I'm a super kind person. I always tell people I'm a work in progress. I'm not there yet, but this is our mantra to try to be better. And because we want to create a space that's welcoming to not only current NFT artists and collectors, but a place that offers the mainstream audience a way to join safely so that they don't feel overwhelmed by what's going on. Because we hear all these things about scams and people were rude or just things like that. So we want to make NFTs go mainstream because that's the only way that NFTs survives as a movement is if it goes mainstream. So that's why we created this Be Kind community with my friend Ishika, and together we're doing a pretty good job. She co-hosts for me often, and also my friend Mud, that's his name. But the three of us together have been doing that for several months now, and we created a Discord as well as I've applied to Twitter to get a community on Twitter. So hey, Twitter, look over here. So let's see what happens there, so that we can try to keep it all on one platform. So that's the Be Kind community that we're doing right now.
Okay.
I did mention to you that. Yeah, I wanted to tell Adam something. I think because our last name, it starts with S, I think they're going down the list of community for Twitter to be approving, because I applied for one too, and I still haven't gotten mine. So mine's women empowerment, and I've been doing that for a long time now, and I'm still waiting for mine. So I figured it must be an alphabet thing.
Yeah, maybe you're in the W's and I'm in the S's. I don't know. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully the Twitter takes note and gives us both our communities on here so that we can kind of keep everybody on this platform, so we don't have to have two platforms. But yeah.
Tonya, listen, can you hear me?
Of course I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. I got the DM from Epodo. He's with the besides Brent here, and he got a very interesting question. I would like to. He has already a mic, so Epodo, go ahead, and if you can make your question to Adam, we would love to hear you.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Carlos. Hi, Tonya. Hi, Adam. This is a great space. Thank you for letting me have a word really quick. So, Adam, I want to ask you if is there an artist that is like your biggest influence and someone that has inspired you for your personal art? Do you have an artist who has been an influence for your art?
You're stealing my question because I always do ask to NFT artists, because everybody has an influence. I mean, David Letterman was inspired by Steve Allen. Everybody have always an art. Being an artist, there's someone you admire and someone who influences your work. In your case, who will be that artist, Adam?
Yeah, you
Or
said
that
everyone,
tendency?
and I felt like I didn't want to disappoint you, so I was trying to think of other artists that inspire me. Like, I mean, every artist that you see inspires you, but I'm a self-taught artist. I taught myself how to paint while sitting in the.
But you have no. But listen, let me interrupt you. You have a style, okay? You have a kind of set of colors you use, a kind of the movement of your hand, and the kind of trace of lines you make. You're always being a kid, or more recently,
Well, yeah. Let me
everybody an artist. So
let me
maybe
explain, Carlos. Let me explain for
okay.
you, because maybe it will clarify your question for you. While living in Laos about 6 years ago, I decided I wanted to be an artist. After visiting my mother, and my younger sister was painting, and I was like, "What's that?" You know, and so she explained to me how watercolors work, and explained to me the basics. And when I left the U.S., she gifted me her set of watercolors and some brushes. So when I was living in Laos, I was a head teacher at a school in this countryside, and at that time I didn't have a lot of money, and I didn't have any experience with art. But I would, after I taught all day, I would go to. I was sleeping actually in the school itself on the floor of my classroom, and after classes, I would just get my paper and paints out, and I would just practice. And I didn't know what I was doing, and I fumbled through it for a long time. And just every night, I would do it every day, and on the weekends all day. And I practiced until I became an artist. Now I didn't really have internet because my Wi-Fi was so slow. I didn't have the money to really invest in that. So it's hard to say, like, you know, early on, like, oh, who influenced you? Who influenced you? I just kind of fumbled through it. There was at one point that I found one artist online. I found YouTube lessons by a gentleman by the name of Stan Miller out of Spokane, Washington. He's a portrait artist, and
Wow.
I am grateful to him because he had one lesson that was inspiring, and his lesson was that colors don't matter. And he said it doesn't matter if you paint their face green or not. What matters is the hue, and that was really inspiring. That was cool because I'm
You can
colorblind.
you can talk to Matt Groening about The Simpsons. He decided to make them yellow. So there is that's the truth you have said right now. The color doesn't matter, and I'm referring as an influence, just like maybe The Simpsons, maybe a Conan O'Brien show, maybe skateboarding. I mean, the influence all over the way you paint or you draw today maybe may come even from other planet. I mean, that's the real question, because you
Well,
maybe it's a question you have never made yourself.
Well,
That's the way
Carla,
I would
I think
put
that,
it.
you know, I think that every artist thinks about their art every day. So it's not that we don't think about like what's influencing us. It's that we try our hardest to be original, and it doesn't. Everything in society influences you. There's this saying in art that nothing is original, right? Even one of my friends in the audience, his name's 3Dave. We had a long discussion about that, and we went 3 Dave Aboga and I, we went through this huge discussion one time about nothing being original. Everything's influenced by something. So sure, if I paint a jar of peanut butter, just random topic, it's probably influences by jars of peanut butter that I've seen through my childhood. That doesn't mean that in the logo of the artist that designed those logos on those jars, that's going to come into my art style. So we are influenced by everything in our environment.
Exactly.
But I can't pick one famous artist and say that guy influenced me. I just don't have that because unfortunately I am self-taught. I didn't go to school. I don't even know their names, Carlos. So I can't say, I don't look at their pictures or their books or something. I just do my own thing because I'm stubborn and I like to do things my own way.
I understand perfectly. Thank you for your answer. Let's see if Epodo is all right with the answer, or have any second answer.
No, yeah, that's perfect. Thank you so much for your time.
And
Thanks
I
for your
did love
question.
the
It was a
part.
good question.
And I did love your the answer you gave about that the colors don't matter. That is very important. I do agree with that totally. So
Yeah,
that's
you know,
that.
if someone's colorblind out there,
Art must be free. Art must be free, and the freedom should start by choosing any color you want. I mean, there must not be rules in art.
well, I just want to say, if someone is colorblind and they're listening and they're dissuaded from doing art because of their colorblindness, don't be. Paint based on contrast and paint based on hues. It will make sense in the end. Just trust me on that. Don't even look at the palette
Wow,
names on the tubes. Just paint based on contrast and paint based on hues, and the painting will come together on its own. That's my opinion.
that's a hell of advice that you're giving so many blind color artists. That's wonderful. And I understand perfectly what you're telling, and it will work. I totally agree with that advice. That's a genius stuff. Thank you. So let's go with Antonia to see how is the timing.
Yeah, it's 8:04. I want to be mindful, so we're going to go ahead and wind down. If anybody else has any more questions, please go ahead and grab the mic. We're going to go ahead and close out the space. And again, thank you everyone for being here. I really appreciate you. And Carlos, I always appreciate you. Thank you for being my co-host. And Adam, it's always a pleasure. And Adam, can you tell our listeners, because we're actually streaming from all different social network right now too, how to get a hold of you? And I can't wait to talk to you later.
Yeah, if anyone would like to reach out to me because they're interested in my project or they're interested in my art or just want to say hi, on my spaces, you're welcome to come in and request a mic and talk to me anytime there. I have a Discord channel as well. It's on my profile on here on Twitter, and you can also send me a DM on Twitter. My DMs are not always open because sometimes they get overwhelming, but if you post on the Discord or come to my space, you should have an opportunity to talk with us. And Tanya, if you don't mind, can I just give a thank you real quick? Do we have time for that?
Of course.
Okay. Well, I want to first. I do want to say thank you, Tanya, and thank you, Carlos, for your good questions and for hosting this and giving me the platform to talk about my art and my projects. But I also want to give a thank you to everyone who's collected my art. Like there's people in the audience right now, like Dave, Stroke, Boga, Mariah, Karma, and so forth, who have actually purchased my art in the past and supported me when I came to this space, as well as there's people like Mushi and Breathe who have gone out of their way to help fund my projects. And the first piece in this series was actually purchased by Breathe. And I just want to say thank you to all these collectors and friends, because without them, I can't do these projects and I can't help people because I don't have the money to do it on my own. So I am at the whim of my collectors always. And so I just want to say thank you so much for supporting these causes and for buying my art. And thank you so much. Thank you, Tanya. And thank you, Carlos, for giving me this time again.
You're absolutely welcome, and you have done a hell of a job as a speaker. You can host a talk show, whatever. I mean, I started at 28 years old here in my country as a TV host, and take my word for it. I mean, you're a pretty good speaker. So that's very good for your project. Congratulations on that.
Again, Carlos, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you a lot.
Adam is an incredible communicator too. So everybody, thank you so much. And if you know anyone that has an NFT project that is have a social aspect to it, meaning they're giving back and helping, we'd love to talk to them. We host one every Sunday at 7 p.m. We'll schedule on the calendar, and we provide the promo video and everything. And also I will be live streaming into YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And I'm going to set up the LinkedIn account. I have it, but I haven't like really plugged into my machine yet. So we're going to set that up. So we'll stream all the spaces. And it's kind of really neat that I've been doing this for a while with spaces, almost a year now. And it's nice to have people go and look at the YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/social chats. And you can see all the Twitter spaces, and I'm getting a lot of views and people are listening to it. So I really appreciate everyone. And Carlos and I have been, we've helped a lot of NFTs for a cause project, and they did really well. Don't you think, Carlos? The ones that we had on our show? I mean, right up. I can't believe how well they did.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I
again,
don't remember.
Which one?
I don't. No, I cannot recall it perfectly, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like every single project that we've had featured on here have done incredible. I think because it's an opportunity for people to hear the creators and understand why they created, and also, who are they helping out, and really connect with that. So, again, I appreciate everyone, and I'm going to close out the space with a song called "Orange" by Rivers Like Art. And again, I appreciate everyone for being here, and we will be back next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to be part of this, and you have a project you really want to share, please DM me or Carlos, and we'll be happy to do a group chat with you. And again, thank you, everyone. Have an awesome day.
Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Carlos.
You're welcome.